A lot of people don't fail because they lack ambition. Maybe they failed because they didn't spend the time to figure out where they are today. Everyone talks about goals. Everyone talks about dreams. And everyone always talking about their why. But very few people ask the very hard question, where am I now? The firmer your grasp on reality, the more power you will have to alter it for your own purposes. What a powerful quote. That line comes from a book I'm reading called The 50th Law, and it's written by, co-authored by 50 Cent and Robert Greene, who wrote 48 Laws of Power. Very, very interesting book. And the more I thought about it, as I read this line, it wasn't just about power, but it is also about navigation. The firmer your grasp on reality, the more power you will have to alter it for your own purposes. The firmer your grasp on reality, the more power you will have to alter it for your own purposes. Wow, that really hit home for me. I sat there for a while and I just kind of reflected on that quote. And I realized something. And what it is a lot of people don't fail because they lack ambition. There's many, many people out there that go out and really want to try hard and get at it to be a success and still fail. I found that they failed, or maybe they failed, this is what I'm proposing, maybe they failed because they didn't actually realize, or they didn't spend the time to figure out where they are today. So think about that for a second. Everyone talks about goals. Everyone talks about dreams. And everyone, including myself, is always talking about their why. But very few people take the time and ask the very hard question, where am I now? So this quote really highlighted two truths for me. The first one is, your circumstances today do not define your future. Your circumstances today do not define your future. The second truth is the one that people tend to ignore. And that's that if you want to change your reality, you first have to be able to see it clearly. If you want to be able to change your reality, you first have to be able to see it clearly. So we're really talking about destination versus a starting point. A lot of people spend time imagining their destination, vision questing their destination, vision boarding their solution, where they want to go, what success looks like, what they want their life to become. But here's the problem. If you can clearly define your destination, but you can't clearly define your starting point, because I've said this many times before, you will never get to where you want to go if you haven't clearly defined what your destination looks like. And honestly, sitting here in the driver's seat, that analogy becomes pretty obvious. You know, like for example, if I plug my destination in a GPS, but the GPS doesn't know where my vehicle is, how does it plan the route? The route on the GPS always starts with your current position. And it reminds me a lot of land navigation in the Army. You know, that's something the Army to this day teaches, basic land navigation. Even though we have all these technologies like GPS, guidance routes, all this stuff, they still make you learn how to do land navigation with just a compass and a map. And why is it? It's not because of the technology is bad. It's not because, you may not have technology someday, although that is a real concern. It's more about teaching you a core principle, and it's one of those principles that are drilled into you during the navigation training, that you must constantly know where your position is. When you start, you use the map, you use the compass, you find the terrain features, you do some resection, and you find your location. As you're moving along, you stop, you check the map, you use your compass, you do some resection off the terrain features, and you verify your current position and that you're currently on the route. This is extremely important because if you lose track of where you are, you're not navigating anymore, you're just wandering. Because the lesson truly is, where am I right now? Am I on the right azimuth? Did I drift left? Did I drift right? And if you don't know your current position, how can you answer any of those questions? And the same principle applies to life. It's not just about why you are doing something, it's also about what are you doing, where are you doing it, how you are doing it, and most importantly, where you are currently standing. Because if you don't know where you currently are, how do you know how far you've come? And you can't even determine how far you have to go. And you definitely can't tell if you're even on the right path. So maybe that quote from the 50th law isn't about changing reality, but it's really about having the courage to clearly see reality first. Because once you know exactly where you stand, that's when you can finally start changing the map. And all right, so I'm Scott, and the book again is The 50th Law. I'm still reading it. I hope to share some more from it. If you want to grab a copy of the book, I got a link down in the bottom of the description. It is an affiliate link. Any help? I get a little bit of the sale. It's the same price to you, and it goes a long way to helping change or helping support the channel. And I'd like for you, if you have an idea of what your reality looks like, comment below. I'd love to hear what you perceive your current reality looks like. And of course, like and subscribe. Until then, keep your head on a swivel.